The movie opens in Syria, where a woman suddenly runs into a group of terrorists in the middle of the desert. Armed with only a small knife, she takes them all down with incredible skill. That woman is Parker, a highly trained commando and military investigator. Along with her close friend and fellow soldier, Spider, she has just completed a successful anti-terrorism mission. Parker's life suddenly changes when she gets a call from her ex-boyfriend, Jesse, who is now the town sheriff. He tells her that her father has died in a mine collapse. Shocked by the news, Parker returns to her hometown of Creation. As soon as she arrives, she meets with Jesse. He believes Harry's death was a suicide because of a recent message about missing his daughter and his depressed state of mind. But Parker refuses to believe that explanation. Jesse brings Parker to the family bar she inherited from her father. Looking around, the place fills her with grief as memories of him come rushing back. Late that night, she notices someone trying to enter the bar and quickly attacks him, thinking he's an intruder. It turns out to be Mike, her childhood friend, who came to check on his pet lizard. During their conversation, Mike tells Parker that he was the one who found her father's body inside the mine. The two decide to visit the mine together. Mike explains that Harry had been spending almost all of his time inside the cave lately, and Parker notices that he had even installed security cameras near the tunnel entrance. As she examines the area, she spots a strange pile of rocks. After taking a closer look, she realizes the collapse wasn't an accident, it was caused by a grenade explosion. Mike suggests that Harry may have accidentally pulled the grenade pin himself, but Parker doesn't buy it. She becomes convinced that her father's death was planned and starts believing there was a conspiracy behind it. Later, they head back to the bar for a drink, where Parker runs into Elvis, Jesse's younger brother and one of the town's biggest troublemakers. Because of their bad history, the conversation quickly becomes tense. But the next morning she hears a massive explosion near the mine. She climbs the mountain to investigate and finds Elvis and his gang firing RPGs for fun. Shocked, Parker wonders how they got access to such advanced military weapons. Parker contacts Spider, a military hacker, and sends him a link so he can hack into the mine's security cameras. As Spider searches through the footage, Parker uncovers evidence that Elvis has been involved in suspicious activities on the dark web, making her even more convinced that he played a role in her father's death. She later visits Georgia, Mike's mother, hoping to learn more about what's been happening. Mike then reveals that Elvis had once tried to sell an AK. Mike tells Parker that Elvis once tried to sell an AK-47 to one of his friends, but he has no idea where Elvis got the weapons. Later, Parker goes on a date with Jesse, who introduces her to his father, Ezekiel, a Senate candidate. Ezekiel warmly welcomes her back to town and encourages Jesse to spend some time with her. She then visits her father's body, overcome with grief as she breaks down in tears. The next day, Parker attends her father's funeral and says her final goodbye as his ashes are laid to rest. During the ceremony, Senator Swank tries to win her support, hoping her endorsement will help him gain more Latino voters. Parker isn't convinced by his intentions. While still at the funeral, she gets a text from Spider saying that Elvis has returned to the mine. Without wasting any time, she leaves the service and rushes there. When Parker arrives at the mine, she catches Elvis and his men removing hidden weapons from the cave where her father died. She quickly overpowers him and tries to force him to admit the truth. But before he can confess, one of his men sets Parker's house on fire, forcing her to back off. During the fight, Parker falls from a high ledge, but she manages to land safely without serious injuries. She catches up to Elvis as he tries to escape in the damaged truck and continues beating him until the police arrive. Jesse soon shows up, arrests Parker for attacking his brother, and takes her to the station. At the police station, Parker finally realizes that Ezekiel Swank and his sons are the masterminds behind the entire illegal weapons smuggling operation. She's now certain they were also responsible for her father's murder. Jesse tries to convince her to stay quiet, but Parker refuses. Furious, she reveals that she has solid evidence against them, including security camera footage from the mine. With the evidence still missing, Ezekiel and his sons decide to torture Parker until she reveals where the security footage is hidden. While they're distracted, Parker secretly unlocks her handcuffs using a small tool she had hidden. When Ezekiel forces her to call her contact, she pretends to cooperate. During the phone call, Parker loudly screams that she's being tortured, hoping Spider will realize something is wrong. Moments later, she suddenly attacks, disarms Elvis, locks the others inside a jail cell, and shoots Ezekiel in the shoulder before dragging him outside. Another police officer tries to stop her, and while Parker is fighting him, Ezekiel manages to escape. Parker searches the area, but Ezekiel has already disappeared. She jumps into a police car and drives away, but the injuries she suffered begin to catch up with her. Feeling weak and dizzy, she loses control of the vehicle and crashes. A nearby farmer rushes over and rescues her. While Parker is missing, Jesse checks her recent messages with Spider. Pretending to be Parker, he sends Spider a text saying she's safe and doesn't need any help. Meanwhile, Elvis and his men search everywhere for Parker. They even stop by Mike's house, but Mike and his mother claim they haven't seen her. After searching the entire house and finding nothing, the gang leaves. Once they're gone, it's revealed that Parker has been hiding in a secret basement beneath the house, where Mike and his mother have been taking care of her. As Ghost grows impatient waiting for the weapons, Jesse and Elvis become worried that the delayed shipment will put their entire operation at risk. 3 days later, Parker finally wakes up after being unconscious. While recovering, Mike surprises her by showing off his hidden talent for farming, giving Parker a brief moment of peace before the fight begins again. Parker begins preparing for an all-out war against the Swan family and their men, but she avoids answering Mike's questions about her military job. Georgia tells her they don't have enough weapons, but says there's a stash of supplies hidden at an old house nearby. There, Parker finds everything she needs to arm herself. Her father's longtime friend, Frank, also gives her several guns, grenades, and an old but deadly long blade. Meanwhile, the Swan family admits they're having trouble delivering the RPGs Ghost paid for. To make things worse, Ezekiel has already spent all of Ghost's money on his election campaign. Furious over the delay, Ghost and his men kidnap Ezekiel's sons. Parker sneaks onto the Swan family's property, silently kills the guard, and dumps his body into the swimming pool. She then confronts Ezekiel. At first, he denies having anything to do with Harry's death, but after Parker threatens him, he finally tells the truth. Harry had discovered the family's illegal gun smuggling operation, and the person who killed him was Jesse. Jesse shot Harry in the back, but before Harry died, he managed to pull the pin on a grenade, causing the mine to explode. Mike warns Parker that going after Ghost and his men is practically a suicide mission. But Parker refuses to back down. She tells him she knows the mine tunnels better than anyone, and this is the only chance they have. Soon, the criminals return to the cave to move the weapons themselves. At the same time, Spider unexpectedly arrives, looking for Parker. Not knowing what's really happening, he asks the gang where she is. They pretend she's inside the cave, but they're actually planning to kill him. Before they can, Parker sets off several explosions around the area, creating enough chaos for Spider to fight back. She attacks the gang, frees him, and decides to destroy the entire illegal weapons stockpile. Just as she's about to fire an RPG at the ammunition warehouse, one of the enemies shoots at her from behind. Even so, she manages to launch the rocket. The massive explosion destroys a huge section of the cave, sending rocks crashing down everywhere. Ghost suddenly appears, and Parker defeats him after a brutal hand-to-hand fight. Moments later, Elvis attacks from behind and opens fire, but Parker uses her combat skills to overpower him as well, killing him during the fight. Not long after, Mike and the others arrive and help Parker search through the rubble. They eventually find Spider trapped beneath the rocks, but thankfully he's still alive. Parker then continues searching for Jesse, who has escaped into a tunnel leading to a military ammunition depot. Even though civilians aren't allowed inside the military base, Parker finds a way into the armory. Pretending to be an injured civilian, she asks the soldiers for help. Once one of them leaves to call for an ambulance, she quietly slips away to continue searching for Jesse. She finally finds him and attacks, stabbing him while demanding to know how he could betray Harry, the man who treated him like a son. As they struggle, Jesse pulls out a grenade and removes the pin. Parker desperately tries to calm him down, but it's already too late. Overcome with guilt for everything he has done, Jesse breaks down and chooses to end his own life in the explosion, despite Parker's attempt to stop him. After everything is over, Parker rebuilds her family's bar and decides to return to her military career. While stopping at a gas station, Spider tells her that he found the video showing her father's murder, but Parker chooses not to watch it. Instead, Spider shows her an old home video of her and her father spending time together when she was a little girl. Soon after, Mike video calls Parker and tells her he's now in charge of running the family bar. Parker promises she'll come back to creation for its grand reopening, bringing the story to a hopeful ending. This movie delivers non-stop action with a surprisingly emotional story at its core. Parker isn't just fighting dangerous criminals, she's risking everything to uncover the truth behind her father's death. As the mystery unfolds, every betrayal raises the stakes, leading to explosive battles and intense hand-to-hand combat. What makes the film stand out is Parker's determination to never give up, even when she's outnumbered and outgunned. If you enjoy action thrillers packed with suspense, shocking twists, and a strong female lead, this movie is definitely worth watching.